for the big show to get ready to pick our teams for the Fantasy Pro Rodeo. Don has done picked his team, and I picked my team, but we're going to get together today and pick us a team for Pro Rodeo and invite everybody to join our league. Don, you got any comments before we get going?
Well, no, I'm just real excited. We've got, 2 days now before the rodeo kicks off in Vegas?
Yes. On
Thursday, and really looking forward to all of that. I've got what I considered a pretty good batch of folks on my team, and depending on how the draw goes, we'll see what happens.
Before we get to going, let's have a little shot of this. We got one sponsor, and we're going to remember him with Frontier Rodeo.
There you go,
coffee,
and it's mighty good. I've just been sipping on
and
some.
they give a portion of their proceeds to the Justin Crisis Fund, and that's a very good outfit that these Cowboys definitely need. And I'm going to have me a little sip here.
Really good coffee.
Oh, it is. And we're going to get right into it. And I'm going to let Don start it off and tell your strategy of how you go. And then let's go through all our picks, and then we'll go back and pick.
We'll go through my team. I've also got the tiebreaker team picked out.
Well, I did that. That's a no-brainer team, but we'll go through that at the end.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you what, you go with your first-round draft choice, and then I'll go with mine.
Okay.
How's that?
In the bareback riding, my pick's KC Field.
Well, I'm mine too. Duh.
Well, okay. Duh.
That way, end the conversation. There ain't no need. Hey, look, when
there's 14 other guys there that can win it, and we know it, or they wouldn't be there. But for consistency and riding the right bucking horse, I got to go with KC.
I tell you what, I think KC lost a notch when he took that year off, but he's back on his game, and he's riding, and he rides good out there, and they're not going to throw him off them rank horses. And first of all, we love every Cowboy entered at the NFR, but we got to pick somebody.
Yeah.
So this is well, why did you pick me and didn't pick that? Hey, we're going to pick who he liked, we pick, so y'all forget all that. I'll go on the record. I think KC Field's the greatest bareback rider maybe we've ever seen.
Well, he's awful handy, I can tell you that.
He's like Donnie said, there's a list of 5, and besides myself, he's on that deal.
There you go.
All right, go to. So that was my first round draft choice. Now, when you went to your next choice, tell me who you went to.
For the bareback rider?
Your next contestant. Money-wise, see, your money, we spent $110,000.
Oh, okay.
So KC,
he's not who I spent the most money on.
Okay,
I did spend $110,000.
Okay, well, who did you spend the most money on?
I got to tell you, my bull rider.
Okay.
And Stetson Wright is who I picked. He seemed to have a hot hand. I think as much as Sage as I do of Stetson, but I picked Stetson.
Since we'll stay in that event, I'm going to stay with you. That was not the person that I spent the next amount of money on. Well, I guess it really was. It was a tie between him and another individual. I'm hoping, and I don't have any insider trading information, that J.B. Mooney is sound. If J.B. Mooney is sound on the tweet pins, he's going to ride all of them, and he can ride the rank bulls too. They do not have them Mambo eliminators like they used to have in your day. And I think they don't need them anymore. I mean, they're what's the difference is
nowadays in the eliminator pen, heck, you can see bulls in there you'd love to get on.
Yes,
there's good ones. There's several good to ride bulls that they considered eliminators.
What's the definition of eliminator? A bull that'll knock your teeth out, or bull throw you off? I mean, you're going to be no time or no score on both of them.
Yeah, right.
But in your day, they had bulls that. I mean, what was that?
15X.
15X Jaws is what I was coming to think. I pulled Wilco's rope on him twice and he rode him both times. Didn't win shit either time.
No, it's hard to win some money on that bull. I saw Robert Blanford ride him a couple of times too. And Robert rode him at Fort Worth.
He would give you a shaving scar.
Boy, I'm telling you, he would.
Well, I'm going to go to the next one, who I was my second choice for spending the most money on, since we're jumping around and we'll go that way. Was in the steer wrestling, and normally I never ever spend a lot of money on steer wrestlings, but I think this year's field to the bottom, it was time to jump up there and sure enough pick a no-brainer with Tyler Wagonspack.
Well, that's who I got on my squad as well.
And I promise you, we have not got together. Have no idea who your picks are.
But I did tell you at our last, when we went over the preview for steer wrestlers, he was probably going to be my man, and I just like the way he handles himself out there. Boy, he doesn't seem to let the pressure get to him. He he makes great consistent runs, and when he's got to be quick, he can be quick.
Tyler has got the most correct form, in my opinion, of any steer wrestler there. And when you've got correct form in the steer wrestling, the event's easy. He's never behind.
Yeah.
He don't catch a steer. He catches steers great. So when you catch steers great and you touch your feet on the ground, he can immediately go for the nose, and he's going to be riding. Casper, and him and Tyler Pearson will both be riding the horse. And there's going to be some other great horses out there, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Good.
I've got who that list is. Okay, go with where you went next in your money.
My spending spree here, let's see. It looks like the next highest amount of money I spent was with my calf roper.
Okay. I bet we got a big difference here.
I bet we do too.
I bet we don't.
I picked Corey Solomon.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Well, we do have a change. We have a change, and that's a good pick. And he just got through winning the roping at San Angelo. I watched it out there. He roped real good.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I've been watching him practice every day, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So you do have a little insider trading. Well, I'm going to go with Johnny Wayne's grandson, and I'm going to pick Marty Yates. Just crawl out there on the limb that, he flanks one calf better last year.
I'm telling you, that's who I've had down, and because of this eraser, he lost his spot on my list because I've had him as my fantasy calf roper every year I played this game. And I just decided to change it up this year. And I told you earlier a while ago with it, I did some
that surprised me. You went off the chain.
Yeah.
I think he ropes out there as close to Cody Ole as anybody I've seen. I think Cody Ole by far is the greatest calf roper that ever roped in the Thomas and Mack.
Yeah.
And he's as close to Cody as anybody I've seen.
Well, I like that young man. I like his attitude, and I like the fact that he's a winner.
You spent $60,000 for Corey. Now I've got to jump over here because I've got somebody on my list I spent a little more for, and we'll go to that event next. And she's been there, done that, got the T-shirt and everything. I went with Nellie Miller in the barrel race because I went with the Blue Roan sister.
Well, I don't blame you on that one at all. I got to tell you, in the barrel race, that was kind of one of my latter picks because I'm probably not as well versed in that event as I am in some of the others. And I just went with Ivy Sabins. I think she's got a good horse.
It's funny you said that because I was weighing between. Ivy was on my hit list to take for a long time. She's a girl that's going to get around most of the barrels and not hit no barrel.
Right.
Nellie is too. You can spend $150,000 and it's hard to beat Haley Kinsel. So we can have her and we have everybody else.
Yeah, I tell you, if I could spend any amount of money I wanted to on this team, she'd have been my first pick.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hers to lose or hers to win. She's won 3 in a row, and I don't see no weakening in her barrel racing. But we got to have somebody. And once again, we didn't have a show picking the barrel racers, and I'll tell you why. Up until right now, we're not absolutely sure, and the rodeo starts Thursday. There's several of the girls themselves don't even know what horse they're riding.
Oh, really?
I seen a girl load up 5 horses going out there. Well, surely she didn't just take 5 horses to go out there and clean stalls.
Right.
So if she had a chance that them are going to be rode, there's a difference between a first-line horse and a backup horse.
Right.
And my deal is this. I know what Haley Kinsel's going to ride. I know what Jordan Briggs is going to ride. I know Shelley, Donna Kay, Routier, Wimberly's got a couple, of these. But there's about 4 or 5 girls out there that I really don't know, and that's why we didn't have a show to line it up because
just weren't well versed enough on it for me this year.
We had Mary to help us, but I talked to her and she said, I really don't know because I don't know what these girls are riding. So there's some of these surprises that you'll see the first night, maybe be surprised at what they ride. But honestly, in this, I'm going to go out there on a limb. If you took 5 horses out there, you don't have a horse. Now, that's my opinion.
Yeah, well.
If you got 5 in the trailer, you don't have a horse. I'll put it this way. We hauled a 1-horse trailer out there when we had a lot to
Yeah, well, you had the horse at that time.
I hear you. All right, go ahead on with your next spending spree.
Well, my next spending spree.
What do we got left? We got saddle bronc riding
and a team roping header and healer.
There you go.
I like my next big spend, and it wasn't a huge spend, was one of my favorite cowboys in the entire rodeo business, and that's Derek Begay for the header.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you because I picked Derek in another way.
Yeah.
I picked his healer.
Okay.
Because of Derek Begay, I picked Brady Minor in the healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with what you're saying. So we both got Derek, but we got him in roundabout ways. Now, did you stay with the team together or did you split?
I kept them together. Is something I never do. I was advised, I think, by you and several other people never to pick both the header and the healer on the same team. But dadgummit, I've done it this year.
Well,
and
you know what? And that's if they win it all, you got the right ones.
Well, I think it's going to be for me on this year's fantasy rodeo, money or mud. Hey, either these guys
money or mud,
win all the money, or I'm out.
All right, and since I already know you got Brady and y'all kept y'all's together, I split my team and I went with Andrew Ward. And the reason I went with Andrew is he won third last year at the finals. He's roping with Buddy Hawkins, two Hawk'em Hawkins, and you got to have that average check. And then healers, the headers, in my opinion, who makes the run. And the reason we both picked Derek is he's not going to do something dumb normally. And I don't
go out there and
even though
the
Andrew
lace,
hadn't been there a lot, I was very impressed the way he handled himself and roped last year at the finals. And I look for that to be good.
Well, and when you get to this position, if you start picking at the top in the bareback ride in the very first event, if that's how you put your team together, man, there's a lot of bouncing around that you have to do in order to hit that $550,000 salary cap on the money.
Exactly what you just said. You had a team, and then you use that eraser. So I picked this one, and I go down here, and like I said, I picked my top four guys, and I looked and I said I got $170,000 left. So now I split. That's $40,000 a little bit, $42,000 a man. So now I try to make them last four picks fit that. I mean,
fit the budget.
Every event. I mean, how can you not? When you go for your tiebreakers, sure you pick Dustin, sure you pick Junior. I mean, them are no-brainers, but I didn't have no money left.
Right.
I mean, everybody like to have them, but there's $550,000 still.
Yeah.
So we got to pick.
Like to have Sage Kimsey and Haley Kinsel at the same time, but that's hard to do.
You can't do it unless you go down somewhere else, which will leave us with our last event, the classic event, the bronc riding.
And I stole my guy.
You stole him?
Stole him.
Who'd you steal him?
Wade Sundell.
Well, you didn't steal him. I got him too.
Yeah, well.
Oh, there you go, boy. I tell you what, we really went through you. We must have listened to each other with all our picks.
But I mean, some of these are, some of them are gut feelings, but some of them are pretty solid picks. I mean,
the reason I went with Wade is kind of what you said, money or mud, and that is the definition of money or mud. If Wade Sundell gets tapped off at the finals, he could win the world championship.
Oh, he could
coming in at 13th. He could go all the way to the top because now Wade rides them horses good. I think he's back sound finally. It
seems to be. Seems to be pretty sound. So.
He's getting a little longer in the tooth, and not that I think he's on top of them.
I got to tell you something. I think that longer in the tooth adds up to a lot of experience.
Yes.
And out there,
more especially in the bronc riding.
Yeah. You got a lot of young guys out there in the bronc riding this year, and I mean, they can all ride. We've said that time and again. A lot of Canadians this year, but a lot of them are young guys, and boy, you just don't know how the bright lights are going to affect them.
I see some of them young guys that too, when they get on them rank horses like Killer Bee, Virgil, how them horses go through there and how they draw them. I mean, as a bulldogger, our favorite night in the rodeo was the night they had the eliminators out in the bronc riding, because you don't see them guys hitting the ground a whole lot during the year.
No, you'd never hardly see it. I mean,
but boy, I tell you what, on eliminator night, I think that's the best event in the whole rodeo, when they put the Big E's out. And I talked to my friend Bud Monroe this morning, give old Bud a shout out down there in Valley Mills. He thinks that they're going to be out Saturday night. So you get Saturday Night Live, Las Vegas Lights, and you got the Big E's out, you're not going to have a good night.
Well, I'll tell you, it's one of the events that I really enjoy watching the stock perform more than I do the riders.
Okay.
But you got to be tough to make it through that night.
Let's take a little break right here and give Jerry another shout out with his Frontier Coffee. Have that. And we're going to come back here in just a second after this break, and we're going to pick Pro Rodeo Today's fantasy team. It looks to me like we're going to from what you got and I got, this isn't going to be
Not going to be too hard. We're going to be able to mail it in there. You got your calculator out here ready to go.
Got the calculator. We're going to spend 500-something thousand. Jerry down there in Winnie, he's got his great horses out there, and a shout out to his horse that he retired the other day in the bareback riding. I like it when somebody sends a horse out on top.
Oh yeah, I do
that's
too.
Always
I
good.
do too. And of course, they retired Bruiser in the bull riding this year, and boy, what a great bull, great athletic animal that bull was for so long. Carried so many guys to first place checks.
And also too, I'd like to congratulate all the secretaries that get to go. I mean, they get their NFR buckle, and that's their big deal, just as important as to them. The timers, you think about
all the personnel out there. There's some great personnel out there this year, from top to bottom.
And tonight they're going to have their big award ceremony. We'll know who the announcer of the year is. The secretary of the year, I've got a sweet pick right there that she's not with us no more, and I think she'll win. And it's been a tough year for all of us here in rodeo. We've lost a lot of good friends.
Lost a lot of good friends. That's right.
Well, let's take us a break, and then I'm going to get the computer up, and we'll go pick our team. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We're back. We got the rodeo team. This is a joint team between
Rodeo
us.
Today.
Rodeo Today's team. By the way, our code, we'll tell you here in a minute. Do you have that code number?
I do have that code number for the Rodeo Today and World of Cowboys League code. That is L as in Larry, 10548.
And that, if you'll sign up for that team in our league, you get one of these buckles right here. Plus, we've got some other sponsors with Mr. Randy Watson.
We do have to have 10 members in our league to qualify
for the buckle. Not for our prizes.
No.
Our prizes, we're going to send you some. We're gathering them up as we speak. Some boots, some gift certificates. We'll probably have a daily winner each day. Some stuff like that we're working on that will be a surprise. Plus, our winner from you guys, which we'll probably be the winners ourselves, but we're going to bring the High Point deal as a guest star on our show, and we'll find out about what you do.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Wouldn't it be? We can talk about how smart they are, and they can tell us how dumb we are.
Well, that'd be perfect. That'd be perfect.
Let's pick Rodeo Today's team, and in this deal right here, our executive director, Evan, is going to be part of this team, and it's a three-way pick between us all three. And we're going to go right now with the bareback riding. Choose one, Don.
Going with KC Field.
That's who we're going with.
That's
KC Fields. Here you go. You got them.
I've got them written down
perfect.
right here.
All right, now we go with our steer wrestler.
Tyler Wags. We agreed on that.
No arguments here. We go to the team roping headers.
We're going with Coleman Proctor. I think he's a bargain down there.
I totally agree. And now when you get to the healers,
we've selected Joseph Harrison, and that was simply due to budget constraints.
There's budget constraints, but that the boy last year he went into the lead. When he went to the NFR last year, he's number one man.
Yeah.
So for him going 15th,
we thought we stole him.
Here's another steal. Tell me who we stole in the bronc riding.
Well, I don't know that we stole him, but we gave $110,000 for Zeke Thurston, a perennial contender out there. Rides great out in Vegas. I can't miss him.
I know his mom and dad well. That boy's raised right, and he don't have no arguments from me. Next person on our list, we go to the tie-down roping.
John Douch.
Joe Beavers is going to be standing this close to that boy when he nods his head every day in his face, and that boy ropes as good as anybody. Should have already been to the final.
Be a great inspiration for
him. And with Joe B coaching on him, how could you not take him? Now we go to the barrel race.
Got a little help from you on this one too, but this was one of my original picks as well. Ivy Savins.
Well, she was on your original team.
Exactly.
She's on your team.
Oh, yeah,
she was almost made the cut for my team.
Right.
And here's why I like Ivy and J-Lo. What did I say a while ago? If you take two horses, you got no horse.
Right.
There's no question. She's going to be on J-Lo, and if she ain't on J-Lo, she ain't winning shit. So we're going to go with Ivy Savins in our barrel race. Punch the button.
Right.
Now here's where we went off the reservation.
We went with our hearts and our minds and our pocketbook. Sage Kimsey, the perennial world's champion, and we think he'll probably do it again.
We absolutely did. We absolutely did. We thought, I had JB on my team, you had Stetson on his team, and we both agreed that we're going to go off the reservation and pick Sage as our number one draft choice.
And as a matter of fact, he's the first one we picked for our team because that was where the most money was going.
That was where the most money was going. Okay, we're going to go real quick. This should probably be quick. I'll let you pick one. I'll pick one. We're going to go with tiebreakers. Give me a tiebreaker there.
Tiebreaker, KC Field.
That would have been who I'd have picked.
Right.
Steer wrestling, I'm going to go with Tyler Wagons.
That's who I have down.
Team roping. Header,
Eric Rogers.
Perfect pick. As a healer, I'm going to take Junior. That way we split our team. Well, yeah.
What does that say right there?
See, Junior. I'm not cheating, I promise you. And we did not rehearse this.
Not at all.
Mary
Not
asked
at
me
all.
this morning, said, what are y'all going to do? I said, heck, I don't know. We just wing it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of how our team is. We wing it all the way. When we get to the bronc ride, let me pick. Now, I'll tell you what, you pick the rough stock and I'll pick the next one.
Okay. In the tiebreaker, I'm going to Zeke Thurston.
Well, okay. I would have probably picked on my tiebreaker right or right. Now, that would have been who I'd have picked, but
That's all right.
You
That's
said
all right.
we're going with Zeke, and that said I got to go with the calf roping. And when the calf roping, I watched this boy rope a match roping the other day, and I think he's back hungry for a world championship, and that's Tough Cooper.
Okay. Yeah, I don't agree. I don't disagree there.
What about the no-brainer in the bell race? You want to announce it?
Yeah. Well, we thought we might go with Haley Kinsel. Maybe
Why
she'll
would we
win a
go-
go-round or two.
Why would you go against Yall's sister? Yeah. And then in the bull riding, I guess we spent all our money on him. We got to go with
That's
him
who I
again.
went with too. Sage Kinsey on my tiebreaker squad.
All right, so now you got your tiebreakers. And now this is the part I've never really understood a whole lot. And you may be better on it than me. If you get to this point, you're probably not doing it. How, on the total winnings, what is you?
You know what? I don't.
This is
I
part of the
have
game I
always-
really don't understand.
I know it's a wild guess. I'll tell you where I went though. I went at 1,160,000 for my total team.
I did a little different. Figure my team's got to win to win this thing. It's got to win around 100,000 each night. So that's $1 million there. And when you throw the average on there, you're going to have about 3 average winners in there, and the average pays 60. So there's another 300,000. So we'll split the difference, and we'll go with 1,200,000 as our tiebreaker.
Well, just as a little reference, the young men who won this thing overall last year won $50,000. Their total was 1,155,000.
Well, I didn't read that. Get that stat. I guess we're right on cue there.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Okay, now we're going to play this just like we play, and I'm picking this team actually as we speak right here. So this is not rehearsed. This is a team that's going in here in about 2 seconds. I made a living my whole life selling insurance, but I never sold no insurance on the Cowboys. If my boys get hurt, we're probably in a bind anyway. So I usually don't opt in for the insurance.
I do, and I take the high dollar one, the $15 in
All right,
insurance.
well, we'll just take you.
Because if somebody does get hurt, you get the next ranked bull rider, or the next ranked bronc rider, or the next ranked calf roper right up the line.
Okay, and in this deal right here, once again, Don, so I can put it in here, our league code is L
105
105
48.
48, and that's the Rodeo Today deal. I've applied it. Now, we go down through here. We got in the league, and I'm just going to do some deals. And
All the various prize challenges that go along with it.
I skipped I've got all the sunglasses and the caps I need, and I've got all the saddles and the stuff. Even though we put cactus, that's a great deal. I mean, all of these are great deals if you don't have them. But if I've got a tack room full of saddles and stuff like that, I'm not going to do it. And I've got all
Tack
those.
room. Heck, we got 12 in the kitchen.
Now, one of the deals that I always buy, and I think this is the best deal, and Donna Keffler puts this up every year, the Coors Prize Champion, and that's 4 tickets a night to the rodeo.
That's hard to beat right there.
That might be more money. If they're the great seats, you might could sell the tickets for more.
Well, there you go.
There it is. So
It's a profit deal.
We'll jump in that. And I'm going to add this right here because if they're going to give me a ton of feed for $10, I'll just gamble and I'll go with the Purina deal right there.
There you go.
Now, here's one that I'm going to put in for Miss Mary Walker is going to be our candidate for this. Rodeo free for a year for $25. In other words, we can pay all of Mary's fees next year and all that, but we're going to get a cut. If we do that, we need a cut.
I think that goes right up to about $15,000.
Exactly. It is. So. It's $15,000 worth of stuff. You get a chance for 10, and you can name your cowboy. Just because you can say for $25, I'm going to name Clayton Haas, or whoever. They can rodeo there, and that's a great deal that KC and puts together.
It is too. I think it's a great prize.
I don't need Rump Chat's podcast because we're going to invite him on our podcast.
There you go.
Now, one thing that I thought was a heck of a deal, and these deal for $15, they're giving away, if we win a round each night on this team, you get a Savage 300 Win Mag rifle that's over $1,000.
I think that's a good.
So for $15, we'll just up in and just.
That's a great little side bet right there.
Now it's too hot in Vegas for us to go to the Mirage in the summertime. Do you want to go?
No,
I don't either.
No,
I'm not. We're not high rollers yet. We may be one of these days, but we're not going to get in the high roller deal.
We can only hope.
And the owner of the team,
I'm a lower roller now than I used to be.
Let me get this deal. Enter promotional code. Do this. Register the team. Oh, please, gotta get terms and conditions.
You have to agree to that.
Now I've registered the team. Pay now. That team is in the books. Now, we picked our team. It's up to you to join our league, but I want to share something with you, and Don does this. We're not political people at all. I'm not. You don't need a vaccination. You need a vaccination. I just hope whatever choice you make is the right choice. For that reason, me personally, we're not going to Vegas. And I'm not going to wear a mask. I've taken 3 shots, and I'm not going to wear a mask. And I don't want nobody hollering at me to wear a mask because I don't conform very well. I'm not. Go to Vegas, have a good time, have your own share. But for that deal, we're going to take off. We didn't feel like it would be fair. There's 500 podcast shows and everything that me and Don could really do y'all justice trying to run a show here in Texas.
During the course of the
And what's your idea on the mask? You're not
I'm the same way. No, I'm not going to wear a mask anywhere. I just don't do it. I've had COVID, survived it pretty easy. Had nothing much more in a case of the sniffles. But I know some people have had much more severe cases. I don't deny that. But for me, I've had it. I'm going on down the road.
I don't see much fun in Vegas going out there sitting down playing blackjack and having me a Johnny Walker Black there that I've got to have a mask on, have to pull down, drink, do that.
They have to get it in through osmosis.
I don't enjoy gambling that much. No, so we're going to set this one out. Now, that don't mean that we're not going to do anything there as soon as this...
as soon as that NFR is over, we'll have a big follow-up.
We'll have a big follow-up.
We'll rehash what went on. We'll
and we've got
gloat about how we won.
We got the junior steer wrestling in the books that we're going to show that. That'll be probably going on. We'll do that some maybe during the NFR, some of that show. We'll come back. We'll talk more about Jerry's Coffee. We got a good show coming back. That I don't know if y'all know it, but that's a $5,000 cup right there. I'm fishing in Bisbee. We was within this far of catching a $8 million fish.
Wow!
So we got them stories to talk about.
You do have that
and tap. Another thing too, we got the Christmas season coming. Y'all get out there to Vegas. Go to your Cowboy Christmas. But if you don't, let's get out there and go to Caverner's. Go to Mark Wallace's up there at Justin and some of our sponsors and get you some of them good Justin boots, Randy Watson boots, American hats.
There you go.
And all this stuff. And one other thing, we've been enjoying watching Yellowstone, and I want to comment on that. But yes, the language is really rough, but they're doing a lot for us Cowboys. The other night, it touched my heart to see Buster Welch.
Exactly.
And I think Taylor's doing a fabulous job with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his next series as well.
I am too. And people, that sells us Cowboy hats and stuff that keeps
Keeps the Western lifestyle out there.
It keeps these kids on the road. Our days are over, but still, we still promote them, and we're fans of rodeo. We've been there, done that, but I think that show that kind of did like Bud and Sissy did back in our day, it put hats and boots out there. The more hats and boots we see, the better we are, and I see kids with hats and boots, I don't see them much in trouble.
Exactly. And one more time, take an opportunity to join that Pro Fantasy Rodeo League. Like Byron says, he don't come in crack-jack boxes, but through my astute knowledge and of the rodeo business, I was able to take one home last year. So just letting you know about that.
Y'all have a good time. This is all we can do for you today. We're over now.
Roger.